I don't know if this is when I get the infinity chamber, but I'm gonna share my screen so that I can use my prettier looking face through my Zoom airbrush. There. So I should get an infinity chamber. Is it? Am I sharing my screen? Top my screen. Speaker. You should be able to see my screen in my Zoom meeting, but you're not. Why? You should be seeing what I'm seeing. Why aren't you? Is it because I'm not sharing? Yeah, it's because I'm not sharing this. So, share screen over here. I thought I was, right? If I wasn't yeah, I'm not screen sharing. Share screen. Share this screen where I'm prettier. Thank you. Zoom for brushing me up. Layouts and options. Yeah, it's whatever. All right. So, be able to see me on both, right? Okay, yeah, and it's the prettier version. Yes, it is. I just paid this, okay, but this is what this episode is about. So I am. Do I really have a chat? Nope. And I am on YouTube Live, and I was gonna put this on TikTok, but if that is taking so much effort just to get that to work, and I see that my transcript just went away, so I am recording the transcript. Let me make sure that I bring it back up because I am recording like all sorts of different ways, and I just want to make sure that everyone has access to everything for a few reasons. Let me just make sure that the transcript is actually recording as we go, and that would be QRS, live on Facebook. Oh wow, you can do live on YouTube, live on Twitch, live on custom streaming devices. Where is my is it the interpretation one? I don't think so. I think it's the closed caption thing. So it should be interpreting. Wait, it shouldn't be in Russian though. Okay, I know that anybody in the Zoom cannot see the transcript that I can see here that I'm recording with something else. That's why this is so annoying. It's because like I want what I'm seeing to be what is displaying, but I'll have to just set that up later. But I do need to see the transcript. Where is that? Because I want to make sure I don't have to do this later. Hold on. Start recording captions. Okay, is it captions? I don't think it's captions. I'm pretty sure it's just literally transcript. So it's because I'm toggling between like a million different things. Breakout interpretation reactions, raise hand, play time, support, start focus mode, live on Facebook. Those are not it. Disable annotation for others. Okay, I am really confused. Like, where did maybe if I bring all of Windows to the front, Windows, bring all to front, maybe it'll, where did it go? Did it come up? No. No, it didn't. Mother fudger. This is always such a freaking pain. Okay, window, bring all to front. Can you see it now? Nope, I can't see it over there. I cannot see it over here. Is it behind this? And something is like seriously slowing down my laptop now, and it's been 30 minutes, and I'm still just trying to get this shit to work. Where is it? Slide control, pause share, participants. So there's 3 of us. Encrypted connection. Oh, is it this? Mm, mm. Okay, it's under captions. View full transcript. Okay, so you won't be able to see this if you are in the Zoom, but you can see this if you are in the YouTube Live. And when I record it, you'll be able to see it. All right, I think we're finally able to actually get started. And what I'm doing today is I am taking a shit ton of data to like successfully pivot because I am really overwhelmed. Um, so let's make this into a canvassing so that we can keep track of the reasons why we call this a house full of killers episode, right? And so we can actually like do something to get us to a better place. So I'm gonna open up Canva and like just because it's easier for me to visualize if I'm actually taking notes. And this is what I do as a software engineer or as an AI engineer. And I guess right now it behooves me to keep the title AI because I keep hearing it come up more and more often. Apparently, like the pay scale should be about 180K for like top notch AI engineers. And I don't know how you determine if someone's a top notch engineer. However, I do know that I am really like struggling to, mm, gosh, like what would be the word? Present with these. I'm really struggling to make sure that everything that matters to me is being taken care of. So, yeah, I don't know what's slowing down my internet so much. I don't know if it's Zoom or Firefly or something else. That's like some BS because I have like a super, super badass connection and it shouldn't be slowing down like that. And you should be able to see this as it goes. So I'm going to save it. Okay. Yeah, see, it's going, you should be able to see that as it goes. Why is Canva taking so long? Which of these is actually, is it TikTok? It probably is TikTok, actually. But why am I looking at TikTok? Okay, so I need to close the TikTok window, but I want you to pay attention. See, like this got 4,300 views, 1,700 views. I have no idea why I put it in twice. However, I think that this was for my $20 campaign, right? So for $20, I got 4,300 views on a what I think was like a pretty targeted advertisement. And if you haven't seen it, it's right here. And I am not making this today to like impress anybody. Never have, probably won't. 60 hearts. I no longer am going to be paying for this school.com prompt engineering because I am not getting any traction there per my data. So I would rather take that money and put it towards advertising, right? For something like this. Let's see if you can, I'll play it. If it lets me play from here. Oh, this is ridiculous. All right. I don't know if it's going to actually let me. There. Are you actually going to play? Eligible for commission. Ooh, nice. All right. I don't know why. It's like, like, can you just please play? So let's view that. Maybe it lets me view the analytics. Maybe not. View. There. Ugh. Can you imagine before people had like internet and doing this with papers and stuff? Okay. So this was like a 1 minute video max. What like 34 seconds? Um and let's see. A lot of people moved away from it. All right, so that's like important feedback, right? So I'm not pretending that I'm doing great. That's why I'm pivoting today, and that's why I'm being really transparent. Like I got to change my strategy because something is not working for me. Like I am really like stressed out about I guess like in a nutshell like money, but not because I'm not making good money. I make six figures as a AI engineer. I really enjoy the work I'm getting to do for the most part, except for having to draw images all day for people that like of course like are used to like photographer quality movie studio quality like images. Like that's been a little bit brutal for me because it's really hurting my wrist. And I also like I'm a chatbot specialist, so I'm more interested in the math behind stuff, like versus the visual appeal. But I also understand that that's part of my job. And so, why am I bringing this up? Okay, so I'm making six figures. However, I'm not getting paid as a business. I had to take a W-2, and I could really wanted to work for this team because I think that they're the most open minded that I ran into, and they were okay with my questions when they interviewed me. So I need to pivot and make sure that as I'm finishing out this contract, I have about 2 more months on the initial contract, and then everything can be reconsidered. But for right now, I have 2 months left on my initial contract. Let's see how that plays out. Who knows? You never know if tomorrow is your last day, even if you're an employee. Like if you've been in software enough and you worked for startups, like there's like the day, like sometimes there's been that day where you go in and they're like, your laptop's about to turn black, and bye, and so that's how you get fired from some jobs. From some jobs, they're like, you know, the bank collapsed and like we no longer have funds, and you never even know that like your laptop went dark. But like there's just so many different things that could happen in preparation, right? As an intelligent, like older person, once is not really that much time to make sure that I got all my ducks in a row. But as I am deciding, okay, I need to apply for a better job because that was one of like Hermazi's like suggestions, right? But then I think about what Cody Sanchez says, and I'm I do, if I do date somebody, it's a male that like makes more money than me because otherwise it's probably a generational thing. So I'm like 46, obviously, midlife, but like in my generation, like it's just not gonna be all right if they make less than me. I've tried it. It sucks for everybody. It makes me uncomfortable because I know that I have to like dim my light so that they feel better about themselves. I've tried dating blue collar, like non-academic backgrounds. Like they have so much self-esteem shit going on that I can't like even be me without, like feeling like I'm stepping on their egos with intellect. So that's part of the brutal nature of the reality of like being a female in STEM, I think. And I can't have kids, so like I never got married because everybody that I dated wanted kids, and I taught kindergarten for 9 years because I was like, okay, I'll have kids and like I'll start like a daycare and have my kids there and be friends with all my kids' parents. But it just like life didn't deliver that way. So I didn't want to deprive anybody from that. So in case anybody's like, oh, you're just like a dog lady. So that brings me back to my point. Like I had to really recenter today, which is why I'm like, what is it like 5:13? So instead of 10:30, it's about 5:30. So it's like about 7 hours late making this video because it was. I really feel like there's this big division in like the people that are open to the possibilities of AI and the people that are not. And you have a lot of people that don't really understand the technology that are gonna that are hating on it. And even Matt Wolf like made a video recently where he went to South by Southwest and he was like surprised at how many people were booing the whole AI thing. And it's almost like it's like people are calling you a scab or something. It's like, dude, like is this the way it felt when people went from riding horses to picking cars instead of horses to do stuff in? I don't know, but this has been my reality, and that's why I really appreciate the job I have, is because the team I'm on, they're like really forward thinking and they're about my age, and they're very stable people, and I know that they have like wives and children, and I don't have that, but I have something else. So like I'm taking care of 3 dogs. One of them is my 8-year-old Doberman service dog. The others are, I have a veteran that is like handling his PTSD, and there's an army guy whose wife was here also for a while. Like she's always welcome to stay here. So I live on one wing of my house, and I divided my house like physically, manually, like did the construction to like install like 3 full bathrooms on that side of the house so that each room has their own bathroom, right? So like it's my Airbnb side, or like, and 2 of them, like, and so 2 of them are renters, like year-long leases. One of them's an Airbnb, and I have like 2 other houses that have 2 families, and then I have like some real estate that my dad, like he's still alive, and my mom and him, like they live on the other side of the tracks. So I'm like, so I like came to the to the nicer side of the tracks when I came back to El Paso. And so I'm taking care of one of the properties that my dad like put in my name, that I'm sharing with my nephew, which like created all sorts of other like backlash kind of, because I wasn't able to, like, I had the funds, I had the everything set up to like make it profitable, and it didn't work. And that's, like, I'm sure that there's like bigger reasons, and the whole point of that property, and this property, is I made it for vets and pets. So I call this house a house full of killers because there's an army guy, and then there's my veteran, and I'm a veteran, and I can't have weapons because I signed away my rights to bear arms, so that I could get a fiduciary to like manage all of my like financial assets that I get through the VA, because it's just wiser for me. And on paper, I don't have family, and that's like a whole other story. But I do have my dogs and my dogs, and my thesis in Boulder was, dedicated to my dogs and my dogs. And so as I was thinking about, okay, do I apply for another job, because that was Hermose's advice, and if I was to make even like 15K more, I would at least have enough buffer so that if like one thing happened, like my whole house of cards feeling, like it, like everything doesn't collapse. And so right now, um I had one turnover in one of my rental houses, and I bought them years ago. So like, and yes, they still have mortgages, but they do also provide me like a good enough like cash flow to where the mortgage pays for itself, but I also make cash flow off of it. And they cost less because I bought them a while ago. And so like, with one house needing to be prepped for re-rental, and my one of my best friends from well my best friend from childhood manages my rentals and some of my parents rentals. He does an amazing job, and like the rates are very reasonable. But that one event, because I'm not getting double, because I am on W2 income, like completely like messed up any little like spending money that I had. And my Doberman's foot is swollen, and I'm gonna take her in. So of course I have like credit, right? And I didn't work for a year. I was just getting unemployment, and I don't want to get unemployment. I don't want. So I'm supposed to be making like, I think like 112,000 or something, which is like actually like a median income for an AI engineer. Like, I'm not even debating that, but because I don't have dependents and I can't write off my business taxes the way I used to, then I'm only like taking home like 80,000. And this house is like 3,000 for a monthly mortgage, which is fair because I rent half of it. So like, for me it's 1,500, but then like solar panels and like water, right? So that's like another 500. So um like, I feel like there should be more in my bank account, but I went back and checked, and I used AI, like to do some of my property management stuff. And yeah, that's when I found out like, oh shit, like I had a turnover, and that like really disrupted my sense of comfort. So do I go and apply for another job? Yes, because I don't know what's going to happen in 2 months with this current job. Even though I'm really enjoying the work, I am not enjoying pixel pushing images. But I am enjoying like the opportunity to get to like teach everyone that I interact with like how to basically be like the in-house AI integration specialist, that like just onboards people really quick. Like, probably the biggest advantage, right, is to get to be around like-minded, forward-thinking people that are not like worried because they know that they're getting like, you could call it like front of the line uh hand holding through understanding these technologies. And that's where I go back to the whole like, it's been a rough couple weeks because I did my best to help my, like, for example, my elderly father. Was it like a stack of medical documentation that was so thick? Like, I haven't read my own mail in like 3 years. Like, seriously, like every so often I'll open a piece of mail if if I know it's like a reimbursement check or something, but I don't read my own mail. I don't open my emails. I barely answer my phone. And so, like, if the expectation was for me to read all his medical documents and like sit there and hand select things and shit like that, like I wasn't gonna. So then we invested in a scanner, and I put all of his stuff into like basically like the Claude 3 LLM. I thought it did a good job of like a first stab at a very, very well stated letter that he needed to get to one of his like I don't know, it's not his doctor, but like something happened with his doctor, and he's really upset about like the fact that I didn't sit through and read the letters, but I just don't do that anymore. And so then I checked in with whom I consider to be probably my smartest friend. She used to be a model, like a lingerie model, and she was a valedictorian of her class. And she got real sick, so she didn't like. She had started with psychology, right? But she's also like brilliant at math and stuff like that. And she asked me like how I was doing, and I was like, well, I think I'm getting ready to move to Mexico because the tax laws are changing for somebody like me. So like I've been a freelancer for many years, but I don't because I didn't make that much money for that year I wasn't working. And then right now I'm not making business money, I'm making W2 money. I don't know if I'm going to be categorized as a startup, and if those tax laws are going to affect how much I have to like pay upfront in taxes as a startup, which are they're like insanely high taxes. But my mom is from Mexico, so I actually qualify for like dual citizenship in Mexico, which is what I'm considering because I'm about 7 minutes away from New Mexico. If I go north, I'm about 15 minutes from Mexico if I go south. Right now, I'm like in El Paso, and most of the e-commerce lines that I've seen are like through Cody Sanchez, and of course we all know Elon Musk is moving to Tesla to Mexico, right? So my dad was telling me that there's like a bunch of like open land over there where like the bourgeois Mexicans are like establishing themselves, right? And so yeah, I know Spanish, so why would I go to like Dubai when I know Spanish? And it's like my dentist lives in Mexico. Like I like there's so many reasons for me to make it work here and be like the satellite to the e-commerce lines that are going to be running through like Dallas and Austin, right? Like there's so much benefit to not being as busy or well known as Tijuana. And like all those e-commerce lines I think are going to go through places like Brownsville. Um and when I grew up, it was around a bunch of trailers that ran like all of the commerce, or not all of it, but a lot of it through like the international bridges, and like it's very destructive for your property to like live around that, like for just like it's like basic material science reasons, right? Like if you have all of that vibration from the really heavy trailers moving stuff around, like it's eventually going to degrade the quality of the structure of your houses and stuff like that, like all sorts of like just really like boring reasons. But um my friend was like, oh, like you need to talk to a CPA, like how do you know, like you don't know. And I was like, okay, there are so many like misconceptions about AI and AGI, and like what it means and like what to do about it, and like why does anybody care, like if AGI is called AGI or not, like it's still already like outperforming humans, and I don't think it should have to like do parlor tricks for us to be convinced that it's better than us. So this is my first YouTube short, right? So I'm gonna try to like get to the point for this, and I'm being really transparent about like I don't know, I would call it like vulnerable with my emotions because I am overwhelmed. Like it is brutal to be like constantly like the person that's hated on for being the person that's learning the technology that basically is like as important as the ability to move around fire by cavemen. I don't understand why people don't get like the uh massive implications of that. I don't know if it's disbelief or if it's just not understanding the way it works, which is my biggest suspicion, and a lot of like misinformation, right? And then I will circle back to like, what am I applying for another job, and how do I do it so that I have like infinite, like I have so many offers to apply for jobs. I have like 2 extra phone lines and like 3 different emails, just to try to manage like, oh, how do I handle like all this volume of like opportunities to apply for jobs? But I don't want the golden handcuffs. So I went from like the golden cage, like dating somebody that was really wealthy. When I was like in marriage age, I guess like late 20s, early 30s. I don't even remember. It's like one of the best lawyers in town. Really good to me, but I think I just wasn't mature enough. And also just like I think that there is such a thing as being a prisoner of like there's no such like freedom is the ultimate, right? And there's no such thing as freedom without stability. And um maybe back in the day when like relationships didn't have like a 50% turnover rate, or like when you didn't have like the swipe culture and all that, like maybe it was easier and women didn't have as many opportunities, so you were kind of forced to stick to the, I guess, male female crap. And who doesn't want that? But I wasn't able to have kids, so like I don't really have a reason, like to, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people with kids weaponize the kids, and then like you're bound to some other kind of like cage and prison with another human being because you have that life you created. And I'm very grateful I don't have to worry about that. But I do have to make sure that these veterans and these two families and these three dogs and myself are taken care of. So, am I going to apply for another job? Yes, more jobs, I should say. And I'm going to show you how I use data to make sure that I always have like a shit ton of jobs to apply to. And I'll show you like through my emails that like I'm not making this up, and I haven't touched any of these application portals in months, like at least like 4 or 5 months. And why I agree that branding yourself is the best way to go. I think my current contract found me because I was branding myself. So I'm gonna make this a YouTube short. I'll see if I edit this later. I'm not sure. I don't want to spend my time editing fucking videos, But I'm not making enough money, like as a W-2 employee, to be able to pay someone, even in like freaking Pakistan, to like edit a video for me. Like I just don't feel like I have enough stability. So like my wrist is killing me from like fucking sketching, like generative AI all day, even though I have like a really nice sketch pad that I got for myself. Like, and I'm still having to like cut my own weeds and like, like do my own laundry and like sweep my own floors and, cry me a river kind of first world problems. But like, it is actually more exhausting to like use your brain than it is to like do manual labor. In the Navy, I did plenty of manual labor. Like I mopped so many floors, and I did like brutal fucking backbreaking manual labor when I was in the Navy. And that's why I'm disabled. And but like I'm tired. I'm so tired. And like when I have so much like enthusiasm for making content, I'm like, fuck, but I can't even look at the floor because it's so filthy. I better like at least clean up the floor, right? So I'm running low on energy because I'm not making enough money to be able to pay for like those little auxiliary helps that used to be so affordable to me. Because I'm a W-2 employee trapped in a fucking tax nightmare where if I either make more at this contract or make the same or even a little bit less but can bill it as a business, like I'll be okay. Like the difference of $2,000 a month for, what would you call it, like extra expenses per month, while still saving, while still like having the opportunity to eat healthy food, because I don't obviously don't get food stamps. It makes a big difference, and like not having to be worried about like penny pinching. Like, do I get my dog? Like, well, actually, my dog comes first. So, what do I care about? Completely pivoting again, but like, okay, this. So I think I'm rambling now, and I don't really care. It's YouTube Live. Like, there probably was a point when I wouldn't have been so open, but this isn't the first time that I feel like, oh fuck, I'm losing it, like in terms of running out of energy. And the last time I did, I posted a shit ton of stuff on my Facebook at the time that was like, you really need to learn graphene, like understand the of graphene. And this was like 10 or 11 years ago. And just today, I was watching a video about how like AI is gonna like care about graphene. And when I posted that, like I was teaching kindergarten. I had no idea what even graphene was. It was just like a ton of bricks like hit my consciousness. And then I had like vivid like things and like visualizations that felt foreign but ended up being accurate. And then that's when I really understood like calculus and like linear algebra and stuff like that. But anyway, that's like probably not necessary for me to bring up here. But what I'm trying to say is I don't think I'm wrong for bringing it back to like, what does my soul care about? Okay, well, my soul cares about the dogs. What does my intellect enjoy? My intellect enjoys like math, and specifically like using language to manipulate math, and manipulate not in the like manipulative. You're a 5-year-old and you're using like cubes to like understand 3D space. That's what I mean by manipulate. So I care about dogs and I care about math through language. Um, and I know that I need visualizations to be able to represent that. So how do I bring all this together to like not be trapped with the golden handcuffs of another job where I have to do, it's called a job because it's not supposed to be fun, but why? Like then why not do something that is fun that pays? So I'm really trying to move into like getting to present to businesses for a few days for a lot more money for me, a lot less money for them, with like a much faster what's the word? Like a much faster turnaround, a much faster like representation of results, and like just like helping businesses shortcut to like yeah, you don't need all these engineers. Like it's true, And am I uh am I racing my own job? Well, fuck, I was in automation for 2 years. Like that's what I'm do. Like to me, it's like I'm not doing my job if they still need me, right? And like here, like I'm not doing my job if they don't understand how to teach the topic themselves to themselves, and then can do the job better than if I was there. So everything in my nature is like, no, like I am supposed to like come in, collect my money bags, right? Make sure that they have what they need, and then move along. Like the fucking Mandalorian, And that's what I'm saying, like house full of killers, right? Like I am just mission oriented. Like, what do you need to learn from me? Like you need to know exactly what your target is, and I can help you generate prompts so that you can solve like the lifelong engineering problem of like the unknown unknowns, right? That's what it's called, like in engineering. It's called like the unknown unknowns. And that was like the brutal kind of like lesson that I had over and over as an engineer. Like you know what you don't know, but now that we have these LLMs, like you can find out what you don't know to a much greater, broader degree if you understand prompting. Which brings me back to the thing with my friend this morning. It's like she was like, "Oh well, machines make a mistake," and I was like, "Yeah, but there's this thing called footnotes, so like it can refer back to where it got the information from, right?" Like, and then my boss had like ways of verifying that I hadn't thought of, which were brilliant. And then, of course, there's always like the mathematical, like synthetic data approach. Like, you should always end up with pretty much the same answer, right? So, like, I don't think most people understand that kinds of stuff. And then there's also like stacking LLMs on top of LLMs, which is like the latest, which was what, like KPU or whatever, right? Knowledge processing units, I think they called it. I don't remember, but I mean, there's just so many ways to understand like why would I around and read a fucking medical record when I'm not gonna do as good of a job as AI. So how do I take all of this and like not feel like a moron for watching somebody like Liam Otley, who has my utmost respect as a human being and like as a software person? Because yeah, he like it was clear when he first started, like he was asking questions, and I even saw him get interviewed by Hormozy. Like he's so good at like knowing that he doesn't know and being open to like these new answers. And I was watching like the guys that wrote the Milk Road, and one of them went to school in Boulder, maybe both, I don't know, but for sure one of them did. And I went to school in Boulder midlife, and I wasn't there at the same time they were. I was there like a few years after, and I'm just like, dude, like these guys wrote a newsletter and they're fucking living the life. And I'm over here like working like 12-hour days. Well, I don't for this company, because I was like, no, I get paid for 8 hours, and whatever. If you want me to sit there and draw pictures for 8 hours, so whatever you want, right? But like what do I do to like bring all this shit together, right? So I finally have over 1,000 subscribers on LinkedIn. So I know from a different video that I watched that like it's time to like start putting out newsletters. on LinkedIn, which is cool. I want to make sure I have the best content. So I was watching like the Milk Road guys. I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. I was watching what they were saying about like writing a good newsletter. They're like just basically mimic like what a good newsletter is, and then just write it, but just basically rewrite what they wrote. So of course I'm going to take their newsletters and Cody Sanchez's newsletters, and then I'm going to use some data on in all these places I can scrape, which I will show you. Um, I'm going to compile them and like come up with a fucking best newsletter, and I am going to dump them into my latest data-driven selected um, websites that were the reasons why I got suspended from being able to advertise on Google, on YouTube, was because they claimed that I was embellishing results, and I was like, no, really, like how else, what other like proof do you need? Like I really did pay $40 one morning that I was too sick to go into work, and I was like, I'll just buy these websites. Within 3 hours after having to do some stuff to Daddy, because like I don't know, like because I'm a GoDaddy Pro, so like the wrong account was coming up. But I like fixed that, and so within 3 hours, those websites were worth like $4,000. So that's a 4,000 ROI within 0.0003 time, right? And so that's what I published, and they were like, "That's embellished," and they did remove the block later because I was like, "What? What else? I showed you on the video. Like, would you need authentication that it's my website? Like, how else besides showing you that it's like I can go into it with my Google Search Console, like whatever, right?" So they fixed that, but we're back at the same question, like. How is it that Liam Otley is making millions of dollars and he doesn't code at all? Like they use low code, no code. How do I get to make this about my life's mission to bring dog kind closer to mankind so that every day that I wake up, I continue being motivated to do what I'm doing in the face of basically being hated by everybody that I know? Like, I know that I alienated a shit ton of people because I'm not. I'm not going to be the person that's like, oh yeah, maybe you're right. Cause like, no, man, like this is fucking science. Like I'm a scientist. Like I I'm not saying that I'm not like Liam Motley in many regards, right? But I know that like I'm not gonna be better than AI, right? Like I know that. And yes, it took some humility. But I wasn't put here to be better than the AI. I wasn't put here to be a math genius. I was put here to take care of puppies. And I'm happy when I'm taking care of puppies and my dog's getting older and I'm spending all my time on these screens, right? Which is fine because it's also like really interesting to me. And I actually really enjoyed many aspects of teaching. I love like the eagerness in people, like when they're about to learn something, or like the ability to like communicate like something so complex in a way that it's like not just helping them, but because I have to put it into terms that make sense to them and to me, like I get to learn it from a whole other angle also. And that's why I want to, instead of having these like crazy constraints upon my life, like you have to show up at such and such hour and you have to like, like fill out these papers and like check these boxes. Like I'm so tired of that, like that's no life for me. Like I don't really think I was put on this earth to be like uh a human doing. I would rather be creating, but like meaningful things. So how do I take what Liam Otley has done? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at his videos and I'm trying to replicate what he did. So like his videos are really good at just being like to the point. This is what I'm doing. This is what I did. So in his introductory videos and then in some of his explanation videos, he told me that the way he didn't tell me. I mean, I guess he indirectly told me because like when I'm listening, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna step in his skin and like be quantum present in that moment in time when he was recording this, and I'm gonna be like that person in his fucking parallel universe physical quantum space that's like absorbing every detail of every particle of energy that he's putting into his heartfelt generosity and like transmitting how he's doing this, right? So I'm gonna absorb that, like I said, in a quantum parallel reality, because I don't see like I don't understand energetically why I would do it any other way. And so I'm gonna so he's like I started to give away everything that was valuable, and I've been watching his videos, and he really does. And yes, like he does like cut off like right at the end, like when he's about, like when you want to find out like how did he get this code into production, right? Well, he has a business partner that does the code side. um and that's fine, but like everything that he has given, like I've been able to put into like production level code. um but I also, like I said, I'm facing not getting enough of the extra income to be able to keep like those samples going without like having to pay like $100 a month for something that might or might not be used, right? Even so, yeah, like all these chatbot samples I had, I was like, I'm just gonna like not use them, because also they're becoming irrelevant from one day to the next. So there is his footprint for his business model, which is basically like serve people the way they want to be served, like the silver, they're called like the platinum rule, right? Like, why is it that he is out there making millions of dollars, like serving all of these businesses, when myself and other software devs are over here like working 12-hour days, like trying to figure out like how to get a rag to be impressive enough to, impress the senior devs with, top-notch code that I later have to rewrite when it's not broken. Fuck that. Like, I have been through that, and so not interested anymore. Also, because why are people still using rags, like rag, right? Like rag, like what's it called? Oh, augmented, whatever, generative. I forgot the R. I'm sorry, I forgot the R. Okay, so like, trust me, like I've been asked about this at interviews, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I wouldn't want to work for somebody that thinks that that's the answers, right? Like, but what I do know is that the other day when ChatGPT went down, like none of the stuff that like was so cutting edge was working for anyone. So that is the market gap, right? So you have like these people like Liam Motley that have all this like, oh, use Bubble, and and like use an LLM. And then I had like somebody's been really supportive in my LinkedIn profile. Like every time I put up a post, I'm like, ask about the black box, not like, is AGI here yet, right? And so like there's been this one company that's been like super supportive, and I was like, hey, what did you guys do the other day? Like, you guys are acquiring all these clients, but like, what did you do the day that like the main AI LLMs were not working? They're like, well, we're not responsible for what doesn't work, by chat GPT. I was like, oh, like huge market gap, right? So you have like all these companies like Liam Motley, right? And like all the businesses that he's supporting. But like if the AI that everything they're building goes down, and everything they've done is low code, no code, and their software engineer hasn't made sure that there's like enough automation for it to like fall back on existing, like from scratch, like a fucking TensorFlow, pod, or like a, like even like a real like rudimentary like Python backend, that's like running some kind of NLP library with like Vader, whatever, if it's sentiment, like some, if they don't even have that in place, and Chat GPT does what it did, eventually people are gonna like, this product is shit, right? Is Chat GPT gonna keep breaking? I don't fucking know. But like, I know that when it happened to me, it was like the hour before, like the probably most important person that I've, other than my team, it's not my team, like the team I'm on, other than, like the interdependence there, like probably the most pivotal, most, I don't know, like impressive person, like tried to use it the hour, like literally minutes after it was working for me. Like GPT went down for like two days. I think it's still down. I don't know. Like, and it wasn't even like my enterprise license that went down, because I have mine owned as a consultant, which I'm also paying for, right? But it was like in house it went down, and I was like, there's no code behind this for it to make sense for anybody. It's not like it'd be easy, but it's also like not something you don't learn as a data scientist, right? Like, so like huge market. So how do I bring all this back to be about the dogs? And how do I make sure that I'm not spending all my like quality brain time at a job pushing pixels, which is also in its own form interesting. But like how do I get to catch up to people like Cody Sanchez and Leah Motley and the Harmozis that don't have a software background, but they have like, so like all these. So what do they have in common? They have a really strong business background and they're really good at sales. So what don't I have? I don't have a real strong business background and I'm not crazy about sales, right? But like I have AI now. So the Milk Road guys, milk is that whatever, like these newsletter guys, they were talking about like it's not that they're such great writers, it's just that they're really good at getting their content to get results. Is how they like sold their Milk Road thing for millions and millions. So now that I have 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 plus subscribers on LinkedIn, I can use all of this. Like I don't know if I'm jumping from topic to topic, but this is how it's all like interrelated. Like how do I all this shit into something that's more time effective for me, that is data driven, that like lets me make it about the dogs, right? So why do I keep bringing up the dogs? Okay, like not only is it what makes my heart light up is these dogs and the puppies and just like what kind of world would it be if there was like underpopulation of humans but also of fur babies, which is I think as much of an issue. Like, why would I even I don't know, think planet Earth was anything if it didn't have puppies, Like, it probably sounds so stupid, like a middle aged lady, like talking about this, but this is like a reality for me, like probably some other people, even people with kids. Um, and for the kids themselves, like imagine if you had to grow up without any puppies or cats, or like if you never got to pet a fur baby and maybe you got to play with like your stuffed animal that's made out of fake fur, but it's not the same. Even if I had a clone of a dog, maybe that's the same because maybe that's how people feel about like robots, like robot companions. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is like, how do I make my life about the dogs and also like take all this fucking knowledge that I've been able to compress into like these main ideas, and use data to make sure that I'm like on the right path, because nobody's coming for me. Like there's nobody. I don't have family on paper. I had to close the door on the majority of my family. And the other day, just Thursday, when I presented to my dad like the LLM stuff that I had done for him, it was painfully obvious that like the race to save his life was over. Like he's still alive, but like my job was to come in and help him make sure his heart was okay, and I did. It's like I'm hanging around the finish line. Like I did my job, and I'm hanging around like being annoying. Like it's time for me to like book it. Like I did my job. Like I didn't sign up for more than that. They have everything taken care of. Like me and my ideas and my need for efficiency, because my days are so fucking taxed with so much shit I don't want to be doing, and I wish I could just be hanging out, chit chatting, and and pretending to read all these papers. Um, but that's not reality for me, and nobody's coming to save me. Like I don't have anybody that I really want to date. I need to like recoil a little bit from just some choices that I made in the last few years that were not probably the wisest, but I also understand now why. And like, I need to make sure that these dogs are going to be okay if something happens to me tomorrow. Because I had some ferrets those many years ago when I was talking about graphite, and I got put in a hospital, and I never saw the ferrets again, like ever. I was told by a friend, like, oh yeah, my friend took them. My other friend, I never saw any evidence. I don't even know what happened to them that day. Like I can't imagine being a parent of a human baby and like not leaving everything in place so that they're okay. So I have this real estate, right, and I need to market it so that I can find. I think the ideal win-win would be if there was veterans that managed canines that are available because they're looking for a mission and they miss their dogs and they care about the dogs, and they're like hardworking, so they'd be okay to like make the space pretty, and don't need me to supervise them because I can't. I don't have the bandwidth, and it's not my wheelhouse. Like supervising humans is not my wheelhouse. That's why I build little bots. So this is my first YouTube short, right? So I'm gonna bookmark it here using Vellum. Oh, actually, let's see YouTube shorts. So I'm gonna put that here, and then I think I can. So thanks for you know anybody that's been listening to me. I'm not trying to ramble. I'm just saying like this has been a fucking tricky week or two, and I've been hearing it more and more from other people that are in AI that like were the scabs or something. Like you're like, okay, like this is stuff you can do with it. Like this is how it'll revolutionize your life. Like yes, people will lose jobs, but like they were gonna anyway. Like this is what happened when cars were invented and horses no longer were the way, I guess, but to a much greater degree. And I'm gonna make the first uh to do is make a YouTube video, okay? So, do you know any veterans that Oh, okay. I'm gonna show you the data. Okay, I'm gonna start over here. So like this is where I'm gonna do the YouTube shorts again. All right, YouTube shorts. So here is the data on my channels, and I can see right away that this video, which I put out, it says it only has 3 views, but it still actually was doing really well. And see, it's got 177% views. I put it out this morning. It's doing better than most of anything I make, right? And it is talking about like why dogs matter and why I want to see inside the black box. And then if you look at my other channel, which is youtube.com at, I believe I changed it this morning. If you look at this one, like check out the phenomenal success for this one with dogs also. And I want to find veterans that are looking for a mission, that want to help save the dogs and preserve the dogs, and would be okay to move to El Paso to a kind of shitty house, but where my veterinarian has already agreed to be able to. Oh, this is a terrible picture. To be able to take care of the animals, and we want to set up a place like he saw at Texas A&M. I also went to Texas A&M before he was there, where we can have a place for pets to go, so that when the owners die, they leave some money in their wills, and then that is put towards making sure that the animals are okay. And this, look at this, 4.3 thousand views. And I will let you watch that. But I can tell that like every time that I talk about pets, even though my channels are mostly about AI and like software and stuff like that, like my stuff with these dogs does really well. And there's another one, but that is my call to action. If you know a veteran, okay, here's my call to action. If you know a veteran that might benefit from having a new mission, which is to help save these dogs, and is open to moving to El Paso and setting up a location for the dogs to live in and thrive in. And I also have 20 acres of land outside of El Paso, that are more like rugged, so maybe perfect for veterans. And why veterans? Because I think that they understand structure and like the need for following certain orders better than most people. Because I want to give back since my Navy career was stupid. Yeah, that's my call to action. Any veterans that might benefit from that, please do let them know about this. So I'm gonna close TikTok. I think that's what's like slowing down my laptop. I don't know. Maybe it's, but that's annoying that I can't just like get to the point and make my YouTube videos. But anyway, yeah. Try restarting your device. And I'm gonna end that here. I am gonna restart my device and feed my pets. And I'll be back on live. So thank you for letting me just talk through that. And I don't know if anybody's gonna even watch this. But when I'm back, what I'm gonna do in that next live session, now that I've talked through like what I mean by a house full of killers, like my call to action to find other military have what it takes to save the beasts, little fur babies. then I will go into like the nitty gritty of how I'm using data to have like so many job applications available to me and so many opportunities offered to me that it's like I literally needed 3 phone numbers and um or 2 phone numbers and 3 emails, and I still like don't get through the whole thing, and how I haven't even updated my resume in forever. I'll show you that trick. Eight. Right. See you in a while, Holmes.
Record.
Yeah, I know I'm still on YouTube. Just making sure. Paying attention. Bye.